family meeting at which my father had delivered his decree, Nan insisted on consulting her tarot deck. She immediately started in on some mumbo-jumbo about bad blood and old threats. "There's no need to discuss it further," my father had said, putting a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "We Amazing Maronis will never accept any job that includes working alongside the Flying Garcias." I stared at both of them, mystified. I didn't even know the reason this crazy old rivalry existed. The Flying Garcias were a Latino family of trapeze artists, as legendarily gifted as us, but far more successful. Our paths hadn't crossed in decades, and as far as I knew, Nan had never performed anywhere near them. But every so often the Garcia name would come up, and I'd be reminded anew that we were all supposed to cling to this ancient feud, no questions asked. Well, that made zero sense with the way things stood. Soon enough, we'd be stuck in the middle of Indiana year-round, out of cash and off the circuit, with no way to remake the Maroni name. Dad would probably end up working a factory job, and Mom would land behind some desk, answering phones instead of being the amazing Vanya and controlling her magnificent white horses with only her voice and a few hand gestures, while wearing a costume that made her look like an equestrian superhero. I had no idea what would happen to me. Just thinking about it made me feel queasy, never good this high up in the air. I'd been mulling how to change the course of things. With the start of the Cirque's inaugural season and the expiration of Meyer's offer coming up fast, I couldn't wait any longer. I whirled on the wire and traipsed easily over to the ladder nailed to the wall. There was no net to dive into. Dad never took a bad step. I didn't either if I wanted to live. Descending the rungs, I called over to Sam. "Mom and Dad went to buy feed, right? And Nan went with them to shop?" Sam didn't pause in his busy mucking away at the other end of the barn. "Yep." That was a 2-hour errand, minimum. Perfect. I'd stashed a pair of jeans and a few other things in a navy hard shell overnight case that used to be Nan's. I pulled the pants on over my practice tights, swapped out my walking slippers for my favorite pair of red sequin ones, and shut the case with a satisfying click. "See you later," I said, picking it up. I gulped in the fresh, clean air as I slipped out the open barn doors into the brisk, early evening. This was it. I had to hike past our neighbors' cornfields to get to the highway. The road met my two requirements: a decent amount of traffic and enough trees to hide behind while I waited for a ride that looked safe. I wasn't going to hop into the first semi or pickup that blew past. Being bold and being stupid aren't the same. They're as different as falling and flying. Tucked behind a wide tree trunk, I watched traffic fly past and prayed that my overnight case wouldn't be needed. Living in an RV during peak season was a familiar way of life. Camping wasn't. Finally, a blue hatchback hit the horizon, going not a mile per hour over the speed limit. There was enough light left to make out the shape of a woman's bouffant hair on the driver's side. I grabbed the overnight bag, left my hiding spot, and leapt over the ditch to the roadside. Then I raised my free hand and dropped an invisible racing flag. The brake lights flashed as the car stopped. I zipped over to open the passenger door. Thank you," I said, checking out the woman to confirm that she wasn't a serial killer. Early 30s, with masses of curled hair around a kind, tired face I expected to see more makeup on. She looked as harmless as a friendly crowd. Tossing my bag in the back seat, I climbed in. "Your hair